Welcome to Artistically Married, where we explore the inner workings of our marriage driven by artistic expression. We're your hosts, Jake Ackerman.
And Brianne Steinberg.
Yeah, so today we are also kind of continuing on with our trip in Mexico, but we went and we took a day trip to Chichen Itza.
It was really hard last week not to talk about this day.
Yeah.
Not that, of course our vacation was amazing, but this day was really awesome. It was like the only excursion that we did off the resort.
Yeah, and I'm very interested in like ancient ruins and things like that. And when we first started looking at the area, Tulum was the closest, and I was like, oh, there's ruins in Tulum. Like, let's go check out the ruins. So then kind of when we were looking around on the internet on the site, I was like, Tulum looks kind of broken down and kind of smaller and stuff like that. It's still a cool site.
Also, I think like at the time we were thinking it looked really touristy. Like it looked like it was more of like, people were going there, and also because there was a beach attached to it. Like it looked like it was touristy.
Yeah. So then we realized Chichen Itza was a couple hours away, which wasn't too much farther, and that had the big pyramid there. So I was like, well, we got to go see.
Yeah, it was far more impressive. Yeah, way more impressive.
So yeah, Chichen Itza. Are you going to tell us about it?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So Chichen Itza actually translates to the mouth of the well of the water. And it's one of the main Mayan archaeological sites. It's located we were talking about this on our last podcast. It's in the Yucatan Peninsula, which, it actually was like a different time zone away. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were all of a sudden, we're like, oh, it's local time. So, yeah, it was like about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, right? From where we were.
From where we were would have been, about 2 hours, 15
We were about
minutes.
45 minutes south of Cancun.
Yeah.
And then, we were about a 2.5-hour drive into the Yucatan. And so it's basically like a city center. It would have been like an old city or ceremonial center with probably various villages like surrounding it. So we weren't, obviously it's impossible to know what was happening during the construction period, and what the influence was at the time, who was occupying it, all those different questions. Really traveling there just brings more questions, right? I mean, there's no answers. It's all just hypothetical. Beautifully and luckily there's a lot of carvings around the site, so it was really exciting to kind of see that firsthand. So it's it's important, and it's a really renowned Mayan civilization site. So when they say Chichen Itza, what they're talking about is the actual like city center. And then I think the wow factor is, like Jacob said, there's like a huge temple in the middle with 3 different smaller temples around it. And then we're going to get into kind of the individual different, there's a couple other like features of the site of Chichen Itza that was really remarkable. But they call it the mouth of the well of water. Again, basically, if you haven't listened to our podcast from last week, please do yourself a favor and go back. It was all about the cenotes, which we're going to talk a little bit because, this is basically our guess, and what a lot of archaeological guesses was that this was based, this whole Chichen Itza area, the site was built in recognition of the cenote, the sacred cenote. So there's Cenote Sagrado, which is like nearby, but we're going to talk about a little more, but underneath they also found a cenote.
Yeah, directly
right underneath
under
the pyramid. Yeah. So I think the temple, the pyramid in the middle, and the whole surrounding city was really based on this cenote that they had found, the sacred water.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't give the year. Do we want the year? Again, This is just a guess, but they're guessing it was constructed in 800 to 1100 AD. And it's, just considered a Mesoamerican post-classical period.
Yeah, that's what they say. So there really isn't written records from the Mayans. So a lot of the archaeological stuff is just like carbon dating and guessing, but there were a lot of carvings on the site, so that's kind of where they get a lot of their stuff from. But again, that can be
interpretation,
grossly misinterpreted.
Yeah.
So
Especially when we talk about hieroglyphs where, it's symbolism that we're trying to interpret based on, over like multiple use.
Yeah.
To say, oh, I think this might be the letter D.
Well, and like think of the things that we put on our walls. Like it's not like this is what happened yesterday.
No.
It could just be some very artistic like
it's probably like eat, pray, love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So El Castillo is the big pyramid that's in it's not really the center, but kind of in the center of the site. I guess there's a wall that surrounds the city, and they said that inside the wall was where royalty lived, and all the upper class and the lower class lived outside of the wall.
The Jaguars.
Yeah. And then inside the city, is like 3 temples, and then El Castillo is the big pyramid in the middle. So the structure is 24 meters high, so 79 feet. Plus an additional 20 feet for the temple that sits on top of the structure. And the square base measures 181 feet across.
Yeah, so it was humongous.
It was big.
Yeah. Just to give us a comparison, what's the pyramid base in Giza?
Giza's huge. Like the pyramids there, I know they take up like 13 square kilometers. Just the one pyramid.
That's so crazy. That would be like the area though, right?
Yeah, that's the area of the square.
So.
But it's big. You could walk around El Castillo pretty quickly, where I heard even just walking all the way around the pyramid at Giza takes a really, really long time.
Wow.
But I've always really been interested in megalithic architecture just because I'm a builder and I build as a living. So kind of when you look at these things from an outside point of view, it's just like, oh yeah, people in the past just, stacked rocks together or whatever. But then when you see these just incredible sites and the scale and the size.
Yeah, when you're standing beside it and you're like, it's 20 times higher than me.
Yeah, like this takes planning and this takes precision and this takes like skill to accomplish.
Yeah, and strength. Like, did they have like super cranes there? Like
exactly. So how these things were done is just mind-blowing.
Mind-boggling, yeah.
Chichen Itza was kind of I thought it was going to be like true megalithic, where megalithic is like very big blocks and
I thought
stones.
They were very big blocks.
They're pretty big blocks, but I had a different theory on how it was made, and I found some stuff that they agree.
Okay.
So what it looked like, because the pyramid is pretty heavily damaged.
Yeah.
So they've redone one side.
Well, they had to dig it out. It was covered under dirt. Like they just found the mound with the tip showing.
When they found it, they found a mountain, with the some stones on the top, and then they excavated the whole site.
Mm-hmm.
And it was badly damaged. And I think they kept a lot of original stuff, but maybe some stuff was added in. But basically, there's 2 sides of the pyramid. Looks like it would, like originally, and the back 2 sides are all in the state that they found it, which is all kind of broken apart.
Right.
Which I was kind of glad, because you get to see the
what's underneath the first layer
and how they built it.
Yeah, what was the base layer?
So what basically just kind of looking at it from my eyes, this was kind of how I thought they did it, but there's a name for the technique, and they call it core and veneer.
Okay.
So basically the core of the structure is made from like just rough stones that are all just cemented in together to make the basic shape. And then the veneer is like basically like a tile. So it's a thinner, but probably like 6 to 8 inch thick stone. But instead of like a solid square block,
right,
it's like a tile, and then that is mortared onto the outside. But because it's done that way, the structure needs like maintenance and upkeep, because the tiles fall off, and that's what you can see. You can see the rough stones now, and there's still some stairs and stuff that are on there.
Fieldstone.
Yeah, and the tiles have fallen off.
Right. Yeah, we were trying to figure out which came first. We're like, were they trying to patch up the hole?
Yeah.
Or was that there and then the big flat tile had fell off?
Yeah, so those are some construction styles that you see in Peru. You'll see like this old large block masonry on the bottom, and then there's rough rubble on top where later peoples came and tried to just build some extra walls up or fix it or something like that.
Right.
You can tell the difference. So I thought maybe that's what was going on here. But then you can tell that the nicer masonry is sitting on top of that rough stuff underneath.
Right.
So the rough was definitely done first, and then the nice masonry was put on top afterwards.
It's still kind of shocking that they like would have potentially had that mortar.
And even just to make that shape, like as we're going to talk about,
how
are
they cutting it? Yeah, how are they cutting them?
Because it wasn't even really cut. It's like
chipped out.
It's stacked and like it looks
organized. Yeah.
It just looks like irregular shaped rocks, all just stuffed in there with lots of mortar.
Oh, you're talking about the underlayer? Okay, I was talking about the top layer.
Oh, the top.
Because even the top tile layer was crazy. Like the fact that you're imagining that they can cut stone that perfectly straight like that into those little squares.
Yeah, the top tiles are
so
precisely
crazy.
fit. But that's what at first when I saw it from pictures, I was like, wow, that's
These
incredible.
Are big blocks.
They're giant blocks.
Right.
But it's not actually a block. It's like a tile.
Yeah. Less impressive, but still impressive.
Yeah, less impressive, but still amazing. So I wouldn't call Chichen Itza like truly megalithic, where it's like, I was like, everything there, I'm like, I could see a human or a group of humans picking up these stones. Some of the, like the carved snake heads, those are probably the biggest pieces.
They were on the bottom though. They were on the ground.
But they're on the bottom.
So they could have been carved on the ground. And you were also talking about how like it was limestone, which is easy to carve.
And actually that's probably some of the other bigger stones were the 1,000 columns. Each of those columns was made up of only about 2 or 3 stones.
Yeah. I think there were like 5.
Or 4 or 5.
I think there were 5 stacked, and they were big round discs, and they were like full solid
those
rock.
Would be hefty stones.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about some of the different features. So yeah, like if you're imagining Chichen Itza, imagine it like El Castillo in the middle, and then there's like 3 around it, and they were kind of making like the perimeter of this property.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so yeah, we're going to get into more of some of the architectural features of the actual the El Castillo, like the main pyramid. And it's the like iconic, I think, when you picture, I think a lot of time I was calling like Chichen Itza, like everyone, they're like, we went to, we hiked up Chichen Itza. I assumed Chichen Itza was the actual pyramid. But El Castillo is the actual iconic giant pyramid shape that's in Chichen Itza. And the really cool part about it, and we actually did do like a tour of this. So we had like a bus that we went on, and we had a wonderful tour guide. And he spent like a good 45 minutes to an hour kind of explaining what they assumed was the similarities or the fact that the pyramid represents a Mayan calendar. And it really is incredible. I mean, it's still really prevalent. I found, like we were talking about this on the resort, but yeah, like when you talk to people in the Yucatan, like they consider, the Mayan as like their heritage. Like they consider the Mayan people as like their legacy, their background. So they're really excited and quick to like explain, how the Mayans were the first to kind of discover things like that. And maybe they weren't, in terms of time periods. But yeah, there really is like a very obvious big relation from the pyramid to the calendar for multiple reasons. So they think that the Mayan people developed the first calendar. There were kind of 2 different ones. You can correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but the Hab?
Sure.
Hayab?
Yeah.
Was the 365-day solar calendar, representing, and I think they were probably using it similar to us today. They were using it for agriculture, right? Because they want to know, okay, we got to make sure, oh, here comes spring, all this stuff's coming, and then they go through like the different seasons. Oh, they have their growing season, and then they have, oh, it's coming, like it's harvest time. So they were really tracking in terms of like using it for agricultural purposes. And then they had this other calendar that they were using, and when you visualize it, just kind of imagine like two circles. So there's like one inner circle that was the 260-day ceremonial calendar, and that was based on like rituals and religious events. So same as us, right? We would have our like different holidays and events. I think they were probably still very celestial based. Like they were looking at, changing of stars and changing of, maybe the changing of the seasons to kind of represent that. But they work together. So the inner circle was the 260-day calendar, the Tzolk'in in the center, and that was the ceremonial celebration. And then they had the one on the outside that was the 365-day calendar that was representing all their agricultural experience. So just really cool to think about, a civilization of people that far back that were still using such complex systems like a calendar.
Well, yeah, our guide
tracking,
said on
stuff like that
on the bus that because I guess they've broken down the calendar into smaller increments and things like that. Like it was very intricately laid out.
Right.
And then when they had like modern like atomic clocks and stuff like that, and they tracked the motion of the sun, they said that the Mayan calendar out of any calendar in the world was the most accurate.
Most accurate, yeah. Yeah, because he had talked a little bit about some of the ones that were found in other places of the world that were like doing 18 months, but they were doing like the 12 months, and one of the other calendars was doing like 12 months, 18 days. Or sorry, 18 months, 20 days. But the Mayans were doing, like the 12 months and like 29 or 30 days. So it was just so similar to ours. And then they also had this really cool extra part piece that was tracking every 52 years. And we're going to get a little more into this in terms of like how they were thinking about time. And I'm assuming it was like an astrological tracking that they were doing to try to like put these two pieces together, the calendar and then the fact that it was repeating itself every 52 years. Just mind-boggling. And again, we always have this discussion, but I think the really remarkable part is that we just picture it being like Neanderthals, we just picture it being this like uncivilized existence back at this time period. And like clearly they were doing things that like, could you do this now?
Yeah.
I couldn't do this now. I mean, I rely on my GPS to tell me, all this stuff, or my star tracker, or like whatever devices they had, whatever technology they had, they were able to do this because they were showing us proof by building this beautiful pyramid that reflects it.
I think it's the way we think now, that we just assume we're the best, we're the most advanced, like we're the smartest, and the people before us were just banging on rocks and worshiping their crazy gods or something like that.
You just think it's like an egocentric mentality?
I think so. And you really...
No, I think we have like...
To realize
people are using carbon dating and they're trying to use science.
Yeah, but to realize just the capabilities of these previous people, and to like... they had full flourishing cultures, and I'm sure they were intelligent people, sure they didn't have an iPhone, but
right, maybe more intelligent because they had it in their heads instead of their iPhones. They knew how to grow food, they knew how to track things, and they were still doing all these very spiritual experience like we talked about last week. Like they were making these like spiritual connections.
And some of these cultures that have moved these gigantic rocks like that, just we're basically just up to that point now. Like some of the things that have been moved in the past are
way more impressive.
Unexplainable.
Way more incredible things that we wouldn't know how to do today. So crazy. Okay, do you want to talk about it as like being the physical calendar? This like just blew my mind. When I was reading this, I was losing it.
Yeah, this was really cool. And it's funny too, like they say some people are like, oh, it was probably just coincidence or something like that. Right.
There's no way.
But yeah, so the pyramid has 365 steps. It has 91 steps on each of its four sides. And then the top platform is one big single step, making the total of 365, symbolizing the number of days in the year, obviously. So that's so cool that
Yeah,
the amount of
that's
steps in
so
this thing.
crazy. Annabelle was like,
Every
if
step
I
is
just
a
went up
day,
one
right?
step every day, and then by the end of the year, I would have gotten down like all four sides. I'm like, yes, exactly. That's
Yeah.
so crazy. I mean, if you like, you're a contractor, so somebody comes to you and says, hey, can you build me a staircase? Think of the math that goes into that.
Yeah.
And now do it out of stone. And like
And
the
just
measurements
gigantic.
and gigantic, and make sure it all meets at the top perfectly, so you have this like little like temple pyramid part at the top that you can do worship practice.
Yeah.
It's bananas. Yeah, when I read this, I thought this is crazy. So 91 steps on all four of the sides, totaling 365.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
There's also there's 18 terraces, and the layers correspond to 18 months of their other calendar.
Oh, so it was this 18 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it was 18 months and 20 days. I thought he was saying that like somebody else was doing this and then they were doing the 12 months. No, okay. So they were doing 18 months at 20 days each.
Yeah. So then also they're like on each of the terraces there's panels,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess there's 52 panels in total.
Okay, and that
on
was
each
when
side,
yeah.
and that represents their 52-year cycle. So
Right.
basically, like you had the steps were the year, and then the terraces were like months, and then the panels were years in the cycle. And who knows, maybe they kept track of them
Yeah.
as they were going through the cycles.
Man, I wonder how long they were living.
Yep.
Without Diet Coke, I mean, you could live forever.
That's cenote water.
Yeah, just dip yourself in cenote and avoid Diet Coke, and you can live for 300 years.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, and then I'll start with I'll talk to them a little bit about the equinox phenomena. So yeah, I thought this also, I was just losing it when I read about this. So when you're looking around at it, obviously you're just looking at these like big steps, but Jacob had kind of mentioned this, there's the serpent heads. Is it on all four corners, or is it just the two corners?
Oh.
I can't remember. Because they really just talk about the two equinoxes. So we have spring equinox and fall equinox. And like many cultures, even still today, really celebrate this. It's like a changing of the season. It has like a bunch of different significances in different cultures, but I think it really is just the most dramatic change of season. So for spring, it means, food's coming, and in fall, it means harvest and pick all your food because winter's coming, right? So in terms of the agricultural community, this is always like a big thing. And so, yeah, the pyramid actually like is like a resemblance of this, or like a epitaph. Is that the right word? Like a ode to it.
Okay.
A worship to it, kind of. Yeah, like they basically are trying to symbolize it during these two periods, during the spring equinox and the fall equinox. It gives this illusion with the staircase and then the serpent head at the bottom of like the serpent kind of crawling up and down the stairs. So it looks like he's either like coming or he's going. And then so we did a little more digging, and it's actually a symbolism to the descent or coming down of Kukulkan, which is a feathered serpent deity, and it's very obvious and very reflective in a lot of the Mayan symbolism, right? You can see it a lot in like all the different carvings and hieroglyphics. There's all these like imageries of serpents. And I mean, we've talked about this before, but yeah, there's so much imagery of serpents in a lot of cultures and a lot of over time. I mean, think about it as an animal, right? Looks pretty primitive. It's like, has a history of being super deadly, and one bite and you could die from them, but they've also been the keeper of knowledge. Like, it's been the understanding that they were like the keeper of knowledge.
A lot of the time it's said to be a symbol of knowledge, and if you look around, you'll still see serpent symbolism today.
It's in the medical, in our
the
medical symbol.
Around, what do they call that? The caduceus, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, it might just be humans like not obsession, but like interest in it. It's a phenomenon to us, right? I mean, think about it. They have no legs and arms. Like, what a weird animal.
Yeah.
But this Kukulkan was specific to the Mesoamerica, or to like Mayan and Aztec culture, as being like one of their deities. So yeah,
Well,
he's apparently has
yeah.
feathers. He flies, and he's a lizard, a serpent.
Kukulkan was the Maya name, where the Aztecs called him Quetzalcoatl.
Okay.
And yeah, the snake effect down the pyramid is pretty cool too. Like how they, you know, figured that out and timed
Yeah.
it to make that happen. Is basically the light hits kind of the sides of the corners of the terraces, and it makes this kind of jagged serpent shape. And as that equinox day goes on, it appears as the snake is crawling
going down. He's getting lower and lower. So to think of how you were going to position that giant pyramid,
and then it lines up right with the
and
head
it lines
at the bottom.
up perfect with the head at the bottom. Like, it's so bananas. And I can't believe it still like works today. Like, in my head, I was like, how is the sun not like shifted or moved so that the like it doesn't hit the earth right anymore or something? Like,
it's very popular to go there during the equinoxes. There'll be like 40,000 people, I think they said last time,
just to see the snake coming down the Kukulkan. Well, I mean, yeah, and again, like, it's this is like going to church for them. Like, it was considered a deity. So we did a little bit of research into it. It's the most significant deity of this time for Mesoamerican culture. So it's it's significant still today. Like I said, a lot of these people in Mexico relate to like the Mayans being their legacy and being their like heritage. So of course they're still going to have a lot of this like significance in their culture today.
Well, yes, Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan is an interesting character. Like if you watch Graham Hancock's series on Netflix, Ancient Apocalypse, he talks about it, and he was actually like, they talked about him as a figure that kind of came out of the sea or out of the sky or something like
or
that.
Both.
He came out of nowhere, and he taught the people like how to run a civilization. And he taught them how to farm and how to succeed and how to thrive, basically, and
how to build a giant pyramid that reflects the 365-day calendar.
Sure, maybe.
And raise their crops.
Yeah,
they kept saying that he was like
he was worshipped, I guess, because he was like this kind of almost like a father to their civilization.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, they consider him like being the spearheader of the civilization. I picture Valcor in my head.
Yeah.
Do you?
A feathered serpent.
Yeah, a feathered serpent.
Yeah.
And even the head looked like it. I was looking at the stone. I'm like, that looks like Valcor.
People are saying now that the dinosaurs had feathers. So like maybe these feathered serpents were
more prevalent. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, you look at a lizard, it looks like it's just like got all its feathers plucked out.
Yeah.
It's the same skin underneath, maybe. Yeah, cool. So yeah, it seems like a really significant thing for these Mayan people. And yeah, it basically, like you had said, it symbolized earth and the celestials. It was water and sky, because it was the earth based. They were contributing it to being like the bringer of rain and like guardian of agriculture. They called him revered as a creator god and a symbol of knowledge and wisdom. So yeah, I mean, these might have been these early ideas of the serpent being this like keeper of knowledge and keeper of wisdom, which of course, if somebody like showed up and taught you all these things, that's what you would think of them as, right?
Yep.
Except they got no legs.
Yeah. And yeah, so Kukulkan extended beyond the Maya as well. So again, he was in the Aztec civilization as Quetzalcoatl, and in their beliefs, he was the same thing, and he was a creator, but he was linked with wind, knowledge, and life. And the feathered serpent motif was an important symbol in the ancient Americas. And it's not just a deity, but a broader understanding of duality and interconnectedness.
Yeah, they said that like he was responsible for shaping the world and the lives of humans. So kind of like joining together.
Yep.
Those two different, spaces, being like the connective between the concrete physical world and the spiritual world.
Yeah. So again, I
Which
think
makes sense if he flies,
uh, in um, in our modern day, like because again we don't have a lot of writing from them.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of people just attribute it to mythology,
Yeah.
and some people will attribute it to like this was an actual figure that was actually, doing things.
Like it was like a guy. He came out of the water, like
Yeah, like
Jesus,
it was
or
a
like
guy,
a Jesus
basically.
figure. Yeah. 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 I mean, if you think about, any like hero tale of like someone showing up from, it could have just been like an explorer or something, right? And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm from the north. This is how we did it. And like, you should do it here too. And especially when you do see those like pyramidal like buildings being built in other places.
Yeah, they're all over.
Yeah, maybe he like crossed the ocean and and showed up and he had like a funny hat and they were like, oh, this is, he's wearing clothes. Maybe he's wearing maybe he was wearing like clothes that were like feathered, and then it turns into, I mean, obviously passed down stories. It ends up being this like figure, a mythical creature, but it could have been a guy.
Yeah.
Could have been a European guy.
Yep.
I guess probably would have been like someone from Africa or something.
Yeah.
He's like, I built these pyramids in Egypt. Now we're going to do it here. Oh, you guys are too lazy. I guess we're just going to build it out of stones.
Yeah. Just squish the rocks together with some mortar.
Put some mortar. Like, I'm too tired. This guy's
nice.
like 60 at this point. He doesn't want to do it again.
Yeah. I did think it was kind of funny because I think the building style in Mexico is kind of the same now. A lot of stuff is tiled.
Oh.
So they're, you'll do tiled floors and walls and countertops and
yeah,
things like
there's
that.
a lot of tile. Yeah.
And it makes sense.
I love it. Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's much it's so humid there.
Yeah.
That if you were trying to build with wood, you'd have so much
durable.
expansion and contraction that
or drywall just be swelling off the screws.
I always laugh at that in the resorts because they do try and make things look nice and they drywall things. And all the drywall is just sweating and moldy.
Screws are all popped off. They're painting
water
every
damage
day.
everywhere.
Yeah,
so
just go with the rock.
It makes sense to build like
concrete.
they typically build out of concrete.
Yeah.
And then they tile the walls to make it look nice. So that's kind of what they did. They built a rough structure of the building out of rough stone, and then they tiled it.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Cool. So yeah, it's I think we kind of talked about this a little bit, but
the astronomical alignments.
Yeah, it's like it's following the cardinal directions, but I think they would have had to do that to get the equinox effect, right? To get that like
yeah, obviously
serpent coming down, Kukulkan.
If you're figuring out the equinox, that's much more complicated than figuring out north south.
Yeah.
But yes, of course, the structure is oriented north south, east west.
Right.
Which is again like it takes a little more than just
slap it down. Yeah, hey, you go over here.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, just like the understanding of like the solstices and the equinoxes and different dates and different directions and the sunlight interactions, like all of that is just so mind blowing to me. And the fact that they were even marking like passages of time and seasons, like they were actually, it's really funny. It kind of just like, I was doing a lot today of like statistics and like finances in my business. And there's such like advocates. They're saying, you have to like know your numbers. You have to know your numbers. You have to track. Everything has to be tracked. And even now I'm trying to run a business thinking like, oh, can't I just wing it? And then you see this civilization from like, thousands of years ago. Nope, you got to track it. If you can't track it, then you can't record it and you can't, understand going future. You have to track things so that you can build the future and plan for things and, have your agriculture and your ceremonial, your spiritual self be growing and flourishing. So yeah, they knew it even then. I'm learning it now the hard way because I have not been doing any tracking for the last 15 years.
Yep.
Oh, well.
But yeah, so yeah, the Mayans believed in a connection that was, it's kind of tying their human lives to celestial events. So basically like what was happening in the stars and with the sun, it was important to our day-to-day lives, right? Where it's kind of something we don't really keep track of now as much. Like we do, and we can if you want to, and
Mm-hmm.
there's apps to track the stars and things like that. But really, for a lot of people, it's not.
People aren't
it's
even
not
going
too
outside
prevalent.
every day.
I guess you got like you still
You have
have
to go
people
outside
that
to look at the stars.
people are still into astrology.
For sure. And I think like the really exciting part is to kind of imagine without technology and without, the internet per se, that people have this like intrinsic curiosity. So now we just like look on our phone. You have any curiosity, you have a question, you just look at your phone. But before, you'd have to just go outside and look up at the sky. And like we've all been, camping or hiking or, out at a cottage or something and looked up at the stars and still been in that like curiosity, childlike awe state of just like, what's up there? But I think, yeah, it kind of takes out some of the mystery, just being like, oh, never mind. I already know. It's, there's Venus, there's Saturn. I just looked at my app tracker,
Yeah.
It takes out that part where, like, this would probably be why they ended up having this connectiveness to the stars or to, like, the heavens or whatever you want to call it. I think it's really, like, organically beautiful to just have curiosity and study and track and be trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Before there was technology where we just, we were born into this. Our generation was born into like go and Google search it.
Yeah, totally.
No problem.
Well, and apparently they did figure it out.
They did a really, really
so much
great
observation.
Job.
To figure out these tiny movements of the sun and where the shadow lands, like you would have had to be tracking this stuff for years and years and years before you even thought about how you're going to build this structure, and then to actually plan the structure to make sure that this happens on this day on the equinox. Like that takes so much planning.
And the steps that like, oh, okay, they figured out, okay, every year we seem to have 4 seasons with 3 months in each one, and just to like notice all of those things and be paying attention enough to them and have the curiosity to track them is really incredible. And of course it makes sense, like I said, that they would start connecting this and having their connection to their math or their astronomy or their religion, bring them to that spiritual connection. So they're tracking all these things on Earth, but they're really thinking that this is going to answer some of the questions about their afterlife.
Yeah. Yeah, basically the design of El Castillo, it kind of blended like their religion, astronomy, math, and just their physical lives and cosmic order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just like gave them this like harmony with who they were as a person and how it connected them to the universe.
Yeah.
Which again, that comes from that curiosity of just like what's up there and who am I, asking these like philosophical questions. It's just interesting that even when they didn't have an answer, they were always asking these questions, which is cool. And really a lot of these things we still don't know today.
Yeah.
We still should have the curiosity. It's just we're busy looking up, statistics of koala bears.
Or whatever.
Or whatever. Yeah. Oh no, just me? No? Okay. Awesome. All right. So yeah, the obvious, like that it tracked as a calendar, that it looked like it was like a giant calendar in the sand. It was really interesting because they also, this was their way of kind of determining and from the calendar, from their like calendar round, that they were kind of reflecting on the fact that the time was not linear, that it was a cyclical thing, and they were able to track the fact that, it was happening. They thought it was like a rejuvenating or renewing cycle every 52 years specifically. So again, they're not only tracking for, a specific year of the, the days and how many, but now they're going into like multi-generational potentially. Like we said, we don't know how long they were living, but they were multi-generational tracking. So like now they're teaching like the next generation of kids to track another 52 years potentially, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why 2012 was a big deal, because this was the end of the Mayan long count calendar.
Oh.
And so this was like, I think it was like 2,560 years or something like that. I probably have the number wrong, but this was a very, very, very long cycle, and that was supposed to come to an end on 2012.
Oh,
So everybody thought like that's going to be the end of the world. Like
come
this
on.
calendar ends, right?
Yeah.
But I guess if you knew about the Mayan civilization, that they believed everything was a cycle. So basically
It's just a new
that
cycle.
was the end of this
Yeah.
2000-year cycle, and now we're starting a
The
new one.
new one. Yeah. Oh, too bad they weren't around to tell us all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think, again, it's so cool that they had scientific knowledge because we just assumed that they didn't know what they were doing. And it's clearly not true. So cool.
Yeah, so also while we were there, we didn't really talk about this before, but so Chichen Itza is one of the seven wonders of the world.
Oh, yeah.
New seven wonders of the world.
Yeah, it was like a newly deemed.
Yeah. So
I'll see if I can
before
get the date.
there was an old seven wonders of the world, and the only one that still stood was the pyramids of Giza. So they decided they had to make a new seven wonders of the world, and Chichen Itza got voted in.
July 7th, 2007.
Yeah.
It was named one of the new seven wonders of the world.
So because it was a wonders of the world, it's this UNESCO heritage site. I was a little disappointed because everything is roped off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can walk around the site. It's very nice being there,
Yeah.
but it's far enough away that like you can't touch it. I'm like a very tactile person. I like to see things and touch things and jump on things and climb things.
Yeah.
So to go to this like megalithic site that's been here for thousands of years, I'm sure I'm not going to hurt it, but they have it closed for good reasons. Like there was people who vandalized it in the past, and somebody fell all the way down the 91 steps. And
oh my gosh. Yeah, someone bailed down 91 steps.
Yeah, I get it. It's good to preserve the site, but I was a little sad that I couldn't just run and climb around on ancient temples.
Yeah.
But while we were there, at the bottom of the one staircase was a hole, and I'm just like, what?
Like a door. Yeah, you could see like a door. We're
door?
like, I need to go in that door.
Yeah. So after some excavating in at first it was in the 1930s, the Mexican archaeologists, they dug that hole in the side at the base of the pyramid. And they cut a tunnel into the inside of the pyramid, and they discovered a second pyramid inside the original pyramid.
That's so crazy.
And then inside that pyramid, it had a hidden chamber, and there was this red jaguar throne with jade inlaid into it. There was a chalk mule statue, which this chalk mule is like a reclining figure that they assume is associated with sacrificial offerings. That was actually an interesting thing too. I guess we could talk about that now.
Sure.
When they first found, so there's a lot of Mayan stuff that
like bowls and pots.
They're
and
carvings and things like that.
Yeah.
That show it looks like sacrifice, right? So everybody thinks they were this culture that sacrificed people, and we're all about human sacrifices and things like that.
Yeah.
So when they found the first cenote just north of the site, it was full of like human bones. So they're like, oh look, this was a sacrificial
hucking people into
cenote.
the lake.
they would cut out their heart and throw them into the cenote or something like that,
right,
for this human sacrifice. But then as archaeologists looked into it, they looked into the bones and they found like skeletons in place, and none of the skeletons had any like damage to them.
Right.
So basically they were like, this was a fully intact person. Like they weren't, they didn't chop anything off or anything like that.
Maybe they were trying to learn how to swim.
This was probably just somebody who got sick and died, and then they used the cenote as a grave, basically, right?
Well, because we talked about it last week. They thought it was like a connection to the underworld.
Connection to the underworld.
So they were probably trying to send their dead to heaven.
So they would, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
or they couldn't swim and they just kept drowning.
So there's a lot of like interpretations
No?
of whether it's sacrifice or not.
Yeah. I mean, we'll never know, but it would be weird if it was just like an intact body, you know? Then it would like even if it was you can't like force someone to drown, so it would have had to be like bound,
Well, and
like feet and hands or something, you know?
Some were children too, so then they were like, oh, no, they're doing child sacrifices, right? But then they said like when the guide was saying that they had periods of intense drought, and they figured that they were just people who didn't make it through the
drought,
through the famine.
Right. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you use it as a grave site if you thought? And again, we talked about this in the last one with the cenotes. Like, they probably couldn't reach the bottom, so they probably thought it went forever.
Yeah, they're
just
deep
like, oh,
and
this
dark.
goes into heaven. Yeah. Here you go. Like, this goes to the underworld. This goes to your next life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes more sense. Maybe that's just the positive human that I am, the optimist. Maybe that's the optimist in me that thinks, they would never do this horrible human sacrifice crap.
Yeah. So yeah, so
think
also
what you will.
So they excavated into the pyramid. They found this hidden room with a throne and this Chakmul statue. And then in 2016 they did like 3D imaging and electrical resistivity testing, and they basically scanned the inside of this second pyramid from inside the tunnel, and then they found that inside of that one it looks like there's a third pyramid inside the second one.
Come on.
And so this one has
pyramids.
This one has not been dug into yet, but they just done scans and they found it. But they think that like the pyramid was built in stages. And so basically maybe they did like a first one as like a small calendar, and then the second one was, expanded on it.
They were just making mini figures. Yeah, like a mini one. And they're like, oh, that worked. Let's make it bigger.
And then they made it bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And they didn't actually expand out from the center. They started in a corner, and then they just built two sides.
That would
taller,
make even
basically.
more sense, because they would have already figured out where the cardinal directions are, where the lights were going to hit it.
Yeah, so you
on
kept
a small level.
You kept your original one as the cornerstone.
Yeah, and then you went out from there.
There.
That makes way more sense. Very cool.
Yeah, so they also believe that like they were honoring the old structures by hanging on to them and improving it rather than just tearing it down.
Demoing it.
Like,
well, they probably needed it to build on. Yeah,
we do that in our cities too. We'll save old buildings.
For
Sometimes we build around them.
Yeah. And again, especially if they think it's like kind of a ode to the rain god or something, it's like a worship, like an altar or something. Yeah, you could see them wanting to like keep it because it's a symbol for their adoration for their deity, right?
Yeah. So yeah, also I found that they're looking for safe ways to try and explore this third deeper pyramid, but they want to do it without damaging the outer layers of the structure.
Right.
But also they have to.
How tall would it be, like, give or take? Like, can you stand up in it?
The third one, I'm not sure. But they also have to proceed very cautiously because the temple is built above a cenote. And we know that the cenote roofs can collapse.
Yeah.
So that pyramid, if you make the wrong move, that whole thing could just collapse into the cenote.
Right. Yeah, they did found, I know we talked about it a little bit before, but they did find, archaeologists found an uncovered cenote immediately right beneath the pyramid. So yeah, again, it was probably like a significance with their obsession with the pyramids and, how much they used it for their ritual practices, that they were probably really trying to, and they called it Chichen Itza. They called it like mouth of the well. So yeah, I think it was really just about their reflections to their culture and their god.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so yeah, we just have a couple other features of Chichen Itza that we kind of wanted to mention. Obviously, El Castillo just takes the cake. It's incredible. But there was also this like massive. They called it the Great Ball Court, and they say that it's
that after the break. We'll go into those ones.
Let's get through these, and then we can do kind of the tourism portion.
Let's take a break now. And
okay.
We'll finish that off.
All right, we'll tell you about the Great Ball Court when we come back.
All right, we'll be back.
are back. Yeah, so we are talking all about Chichen Itza and El Castillo today. So yeah, there was 2 other features that we just kind of wanted to discuss with you guys and share with you. And you can look it up online. The pictures are really incredible. They call it the Great Ball Court, and it's kind of located like in between all the pyramids. So it does look like it would be like, a courtyard type of thing. But based on the carvings that are done inside the rocks of the ball court, they've kind of established that this was like a game center. So again, there's a lot of assumptions obviously being made, but yeah, the actual court lined in stone is 545 feet long by 223 feet wide.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's gigantic. And the court is flanked by 2 high stone walls, and each of them are about 26 feet tall. So that's where the loops are, right? There's the walls have the vertical surface.
Right in the center of the court on either side, there's a ring. Right. And it's on like the widthwise, like these huge walls run lengthwise down the court.
Right.
And in the center, there's this stone ring that sticks out of the wall on either side. And they're intricately carved, but they're very high up.
Very high.
Like when they were
say
saying
that they're slanted, right? The walls are slanted outwardly.
Outward.
Yeah. Isn't it outward? Yeah, the top of the wall is slanted further away than the bottom.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it even more crazy. Yeah, we were walking around this place being like, there's no way anyone can put any ball through either of these rings. It just seemed crazy for us.
Yeah, they were
they stack on top
high.
Of each other. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and they said there was somebody had guessed it was like a 9-pound rubber ball or something that they were using in the game. I don't know where
would they guess that
where
from?
they came up with
that. I don't like
that.
things where they just make stuff up.
Yeah, but but yeah, just looking, like standing on the ground and looking up at these rings, I was like, I don't even think that's possible.
Yeah, there's no way you can throw that in there. Like, take like a Major League Baseball player, and I don't think they could throw a ball through that ring.
A baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could, but
yeah?
Yeah. But they were high.
But it's so high. Like, how are you throwing it like up and in, you know? It's like basketball with a baseball. I don't know.
Yeah, that like if it was a baseball sized ball, that would have made sense to me. But in all the carvings, like I guess the ball is quite large, so that's I guess where they get their
assumptions
from.
Yeah, the hole didn't even look that big.
No, but it is also quite high.
Right, so maybe it's just so far away.
It's a pretty big stone ring.
Huh? It was crazy. We thought it was nuts. But anyway, yeah, so they are getting the idea that because that was my first question. I'm like, how do they even know that they were doing ball stuff? Maybe it was like hanging food or something, you know, just like putting a rope through there and hanging stuff on it.
Or I even thought this was just like where you would have like a speech or something and everybody would stand, you know, down there, kind of like a big courtyard.
Yeah.
And because right at the very end, there was like a small little temple that had a platform.
Yeah.
That could have just been where, you know, the king sits or something and watches the game.
Yeah. Obviously, again, there's just so much assumptions going on, but there was carvings all over the wall that showed them like playing this ball game, I guess.
Yeah. The acoustics in the place were also really crazy. Like you could, because of these big tall walls, it would just echo all the way down. And like you said, like 500 feet long.
Yeah. There was some stuff that I was reading that said like that was on purpose. It wasn't just by accident. They were using it like to.
That's what I thought. Like you could talk from one end and everybody would be able to hear you at all the way down, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
That was kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. And then we talked about the hoops and the carvings that kind of depicted some of the rituals that were happening around, or the gear that they were wearing when they were playing. But yeah, it really is something to see. And again, it goes along with the fact that it's like part of this like city center, right?
Yeah, it is funny. The carvings show them wearing kind of like pads and armor and headdresses on. So this was
maybe they're also riding jaguars.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's
I can't help
carvings.
myself. I love jaguars so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool. So yeah, the other thing that we wanted to just touch base a little bit on, and again, this was just like out of pure impressive visuals was this 1,000 columns.
Yeah.
It was called like Mil Kolem or something.
Also, the temple was very interesting too. So it was called the Temple of the Warriors.
Oh, right.
And,
it was right beside it.
the one side, it was really hard to get kind of an angle of it. Beside that, there was kind of like a smaller pyramid that was in really rough shape that had staircase going up to the top. And then the Temple of the Warriors was beside that, and it had a big staircase going up to it as well. And but on the left side, like it looked like it had like ventilation shafts and stuff like that were all designed into the structure. Like it looked more like a really like it looked like a modern looking building that had these weird like square windows and square walls and things like that. It was really interesting on this one side.
I mean, it could have been rebuilt.
Where on
been,
the
like,
other
added to
side,
it.
on the other side, this thing was just covered with literally thousands of columns.
Yeah, thousands of columns. It was so crazy.
And they're in perfect rows. They're probably only about 5 feet apart, I would say.
Yeah.
And they were like maybe 2 or 3 feet in diameter. Like it was a big hefty column, but they're only about maybe 9 feet tall or 8 feet tall.
Yeah. Just 2 feet taller than you, maybe.
And they were all at the same height too.
Yeah, they were just perfect lines, like both directions, this way and this way. Like,
and then it kind of zigzagged through back in behind the structure. Like the columns went down, and then they went this way, and then that way.
Well, we started looking
still in these perfect lines wherever they went.
Yeah, it did feel like they went out to the Cenote Sagrado.
Yeah, they continued all the way down to there.
Yeah. So there was another cenote that was around it. So maybe it was like, we were just like guessing about all these different things. We thought maybe it was gravestones, and then we thought like maybe it was a way to travel from that temple to the other cenote.
Yeah, it could have been. So
you're just trying to travel without getting eaten by jaguars.
They believed it originally supported a roof.
Oh, yeah.
So the columns would have held up maybe like wooden beams, and it would have had a roof on it. There was no evidence of a stone ceiling.
I swore
but
there was...
also, the columns were just so big that it just didn't seem like it would have been a useful space at all.
It would have been if it was just a passage, if you were trying to stay out of the sun and trying to make it from the temple to the cenote without being in the sun. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they were just trying to get to water without like dying. I swore there was like a couple minutes where I was like, if I didn't have this umbrella or some shade, I would drop dead in 5 minutes. Imagine in the summer.
Yeah.
The heat in Mexico must have just been like violent.
Yeah.
Maybe there's trees around though, so that doesn't really make sense.
Well, and the climate's been different in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Whatever reason they did it, it is something to see. It was incredible. I think I was just as blown away by those columns as I was by...
Me too. I think we
Castillo.
spent more time in the 1,000 columns just because we're like, how is there so many of these?
And how are they perfect?
And they were the biggest rocks
straight
too.
And they're huge, and they were the biggest rocks. So there was a bunch of the columns that had kind of like tumbled off, who knows, like during excavation or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were all just like peppered all over like the one forest area that was right beside it. And that was really fun. You know, we were able to like just sit on them, and then you could kind of touch them and make it a tangible experience.
I was glad we could touch that. It's cool sitting on like a stone that was carved by somebody.
And they were carved.
Yeah,
some of them were carved, all the columns. Yeah.
Yep.
They did look like there was like a couple different generations of those columns. All of a sudden there was like a section that was smaller.
On the temple itself, there were square ones where all the ones like on the ground, and
were all the big round ones.
They were all round.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really cool. So they just assumed that they were again, this is just being assumative. But they were saying that, maybe it was practical, but it also could have been like a symbolic thing. Like maybe it was using it kind of like we do our gravestones, like marking people that had passed.
That was what I thought when I first saw it. I was like, this could be just a bunch of tombstones. They made them all the same. But they weren't, because they were carved, so
they might have had identity based on the carvings.
Yeah.
That could have been like their writing on like who it was that was passed away. And yeah. I mean, it's still cut. Again, this is all just assumption, which again, it makes it really exciting to go to these sites.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, our last portion of this is just to kind of go. I was really dumbfounded by the tourism and just how big the area has kind of blown up. We had been to Cozumel, and I had kind of like done some research. We were trying to go to Mexico about 10 or 15 years ago, and it's really just become such a wild tourist attraction now. So when we were actually at Chichen Itza, and I think we really assumed that Tulum was going to be this like crazy touristy thing, and we were sadly disappointed that Chichen Itza was just like it, if not worse.
Yeah,
based on all the local vendors. There was
I just thought
like
because it was inland, it wasn't going to be as popular.
Yeah,
but
it was in the jungle.
Totally slipped my
Yucatan.
mind that it's the seventh wonder of the world
Yeah.
thing. When we pulled in there were, I don't think there was parking. It was packed. There was cars lined down the streets. There was other people who just had properties that you could pay to park in their lot, and they were all full. And this was not peak travel time, like we said. We went on like the cheapest week
least
after
attended,
because
it was right after the week of Christmas. Yeah.
And it was so full. So that was actually another reason I was happy we took the tour, because they just pulled right up at the bus. They had their bus parking somewhere, or even if the guy just went and hung around in town or something until we were done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it made it
Whatever
really
they
easy.
did,
Whatever they did, and they got our tickets. And
they had our tickets bought beforehand, so we
Yeah.
didn't have to wait in the lines to get them. And
Yeah. And he was great. He had a lot of great information. Like, it was nice to get all the background information that we did.
yeah,
But yeah, no, the vendors, that's what I was thinking of. The vendors that were like surrounding Chichen Itza, like there was not a single spot you could walk around the grounds where there wasn't tables and vendors set up with like selling all their trinkets and their knickknacks. And yeah, I mean, it makes it just like, it adds that little bit of element of discomfort when somebody's trying to sell you a t-shirt while you're trying to look at, an ancient ruin site.
It was very aggressive sales. Maybe that might just be like how they do things there. You hear about experiences in other cultures, maybe, But they're all
like
just
picture
yelling
going to
at you the whole time.
Algonquin, like you're going to Algonquin Park. It's a national park, right? You're going to Algonquin, and there's people trying to sell you stuff all over the place, like unheard of in Canada, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think in Canada, though, I mean, it's obviously a situation where it's just not worth it. Like, it's not, you're obviously not making anything off that scenario, so it's a bad example, because it obviously is a big tourist destination. But yeah, so I just like dug up some information, just because we were really like bombarded. We couldn't walk anywhere without being like, I would say like ish harassed. I mean, they were polite and nice and gentle, but they were harassing, right? Like they were calling us out to try to like sell us stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like you wouldn't want to buy, like we ended up buying t-shirts. Like, you want to get a memorabilia of your experience there. So like I get why they're there, but they actually do have to get a permit. So all those people, every single one of those people had paid to be there. Yeah. Had paid to be like selling their goods at Chichen Itza. So, I mean, they're really coming, and we're going to get into this a little bit more, but they're coming because the tourism and the volume of amount of people that are coming to see Chichen Itza is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's really packed. So yeah, they are paying to be there. I mean, obviously in your head, you're just thinking like, are they making enough money? Is this worth it for them? Like, what's their lifestyle look like? Because we did see a lot of what would be considered ghetto here in the surrounding areas, right? Like mud huts and places with tarps on top of it. I mean, it's not like it's foreign to us. I mean, maybe this is just because they have the luxury of the weather being so.
It's funny, because we were staying in Playa del Carmen.
Yeah.
Was
resort after resort after
city,
resort. It was
right?
a city.
It was a city. You had gas stations. You had nice
Senior
stuff.
Frogs, giant box stores.
And then when we did that drive, you're like, all right, like this is Mexico. Like, you got these just kind of shanty, unfinished concrete structures, but
tarps
the
over
weather's
top for
so
roofs.
great there.
Exactly. That's what I was kind of thinking.
You don't really need it.
Yeah.
But again, that probably is, poverty, for lack of a better word, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe not. That's just how they live, and it's fine. But who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, they were obviously people on the resort and all these people that are interacting with you that are local, that are taking you on tours and stuff. I mean, they are pretty candid in the fact that like they're grateful for tourism coming there because the American dollar coming in there is really makes it far more prosperous, even if they're just getting like tips in whatever job they're doing, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, it is providing them with those jobs, which is awesome. So we just said, I had already kind of said this, but the heat at Chichen Itza is intense. When you're in,
we were lucky it was the only cloudy day I think we had the whole time.
Totally. When you're in Quintana Roo though, like you're by the water, so you're always getting that like nice big beautiful breeze.
Yeah.
And you know, we've had this a lot of our traveling experiences. You know, you're on the water, California, you're on the water and it's like super breezy and beautiful, and then you go inland and it's like swelter, right? So I think that's the kind of difference between being in like Cancun or Quintana Roo and on the water and all these like, you know, resort sections, and then kind of going inland. Like the heat is serious at Chichen Itza. Our tour again, I couldn't say enough about our tour guide, because they had like water bottles on a string for us. We had like those like water cantinas that had like a strap on it, so you could be hands free but carry just a water bottle.
Yep.
And they provided us with the umbrellas.
Yep.
Yeah, so they really like had us ready, and then I couldn't believe it. There was
beers on the bus when you got back.
Oh yeah, the cooler. It was amazing. No, there was a moment where we were like waiting in line for the tickets, and like Phoenix was throwing down. He was just like laying on the ground. I was like, oh, why did we do this? This is horrid. And then we kind of went through like the vendor area, and we were at the mouth, like looking at the pyramid. And we were under this one tree, and I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like I'm so worried. I'm so nervous. It's so hot. You know, are the kids' sunscreen if one spot shows they're going to look like a tomato? And then all of a sudden the clouds just came out and like covered over, and we got like a good 45 minutes to an hour walking around right in like the middle of the city centers of like what would have been like the ball court.
Yeah.
And walking around the main like El Castillo with no sun, and it was just such a gift, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it was magical, because really, we had no cloudy, no rain, no storms otherwise. Which it was just that 1 hour that we were, you know, protected by the clouds, and we got to explore it. It was really, really incredible.
Yeah.
Cool. So I had like the last piece I had for you guys is just some of the tourism. So I think I came home looking for this information because of the airport. The Cancun airport is overpacked.
Yeah.
Like it cannot sustain. And like Jacob mentioned, you already mentioned, but like we weren't even there during busy time. We were there during like kind of a downtime, and it was packed. You couldn't walk anywhere. The bathroom wait was 30 minutes. The wait to get in the store was 35 minutes in the Cancun airport. There was no water in the airport because they don't have clean, like filtered drinking water in Mexico, period. So you're sitting in the airport, you can't bring water in, and you're waiting 35 minutes to get into the store to get a bottle of water. Like, it was bananas. 45-minute wait at every single restaurant. Like, you couldn't get anything, basically. The two of the planes flew out at the same time. So, like, there was, like, 4,000 people in one space. You can barely find a chair.
Everybody's just standing all over the place.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was very crazy.
Yeah. So I came home really from that experience thinking, like, wow, how much of the tourism in Mexico, how much has it grown in the last 10, 15 years? Because when I was looking 15 years ago, it didn't seem like it was that built up.
No, well, that's what they said. Like, we had heard people say that that area had grown by like 300,000 people in the last like 5 or 10 years.
Right, exactly.
Because people are realizing it's safe, it's beautiful, like that has the historical element to it. So it's a really great place to visit.
Yeah, it has all the Mayan heritage, and it still is, like has the American section, right? Like it has like
Yeah.
Playa del Carmen, it has Fifth Avenue, like it's,
And obviously Cancun.
yeah, Cancun, all the resorts are incredible. Like, yeah, it's really becoming like a very big tourist destination. And that, of course, brings the local people because they can get jobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, their airport just has not
Not
kept
grown,
up with the demand.
not grown up with the, yeah, it's kept up with the demand. Exactly. Yeah. So the Yucatan state between 2018 and 2023 experienced a 34.2% increase in visitor arrivals. In the first half of 2024, overnight visitors rose by 4% compared to 2023, and international visitors increased by 15%. That was in one 6-month period.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just 6 months, and it went up by 15%, and it already was up 34% since the pandemic. So yeah, it really is becoming so wild. So that was the Yucatan state in general, because I think a lot of people are coming there for the Mayan experience and seeing some of those rituals. And now it's become a seventh wonder of the world, all the things, Tulum area. And then Cancun specifically in Quintana Roo in 2022 attracted approximately 5.6 million visitors from the United States and Canada.
Huh.
So yeah, just so wild.
That was also something that I thought was funny when, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last podcast, but while we were there, it was mostly Canadians on a resort.
Yeah, it
so
was.
It was funny.
I think that's just like a marketing situation, But.
I guess so. It was funny just going somewhere and then being like, "Oh, where are you from?"
Everyone's from Canada. Yeah,
we're like 20 minutes from there.
I'm from Lindsay. I'm from Brampton. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We live. Yeah, I know. Usually we're like Niagara Falls, and no one knows where it is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess lots of people know Niagara Falls, but
usually people know Niagara Falls, but a lot of the locals, they hadn't heard of it, which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like the people
There's
that were working on the resort.
Big Falls, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that the Big Falls? Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people, never heard of it. Oh, cool.
Cool. Yeah. Then there was just some statistics on the economic impact, right? So just so important that these people, and they kept saying too, they were just so grateful that they were provided opportunities for employment. Like they were just so happy that. So yeah, they said the Yucatan region exceeded its previous year's economic benefits by 55%, and tourism has surged by 82% in that 2018 to 2023. So these are not, they're pretty up to date. 2023, it was up by 82%. So yeah, it really is providing a job sector for these people, and I think it's awesome. Again, like we always say, right, we hope that they're getting the money. The money's going, all our tourism dollars are going into the people. But yeah, it was just like creating sectors like hospitality and transportation and various services, all these tour companies that are all around there, right? Like they're all being worked by,
and the merchandising.
Mexican workers. So yeah. They said on a national economic level, there's 42.15 million international visitors in 2023, and that generated an extra $28.68 billion in revenue just from the tourism. And obviously it's playing a huge vital role in all of Mexico, but
that's all of Mexico. Okay.
In all of Mexico. Yeah. But it is, it's obviously very prevalent in the Yucatan and Cancun.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's
a great place to go.
Yeah, definitely. If you're looking for a tourist destination, definitely check out Mexico. It was great. We had a great trip. So yeah, so we are back next week with our very special guest, a naturopath, Dr. Kenneth Groves. He's going to be talking to us all about immunotherapy. And yeah, we're excited, right? And then right after that, the following week, we're gonna do we're gonna try to do something regular about this, just because it's such a big part of our life, and we know lots of people are interested in what we're doing in terms of our real estate. So we're gonna have Pietro Master Matteo on the week after that. So yeah, we got some really good guests lined up for you guys for the next couple weeks.
All right.
Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, and you'll never miss a podcast.
Have a good night.
Good night.